What is ecological dynamics, and why does it shape how we approach training and development at Primal? We train a little differently at Primal. Why do we talk about it so much? Well, it can be a hard sell sometimes, and it takes a while to understand not only how we approach training, but also why. Ecological dynamics is a well-established and growing area of research in sport. At its core, it's a marriage of ecological psychology and dynamical systems theory. Sounds super geeky, right? Well, it can be, but its principles can also be explained relatively easily, and that's what I'll try and do in the next few minutes. Before I do, maybe a quick summary of the more commonly employed and traditional linear learning approach in martial arts. The traditional approach, generally, sequentially builds a foundation and repertoire of increasingly complex movements and idealized techniques, and then incrementally puts them into context. If we think of striking, basic posture, to footwork, to basic punches, to basic blocks, and so on and so forth. Over time, these techniques will be put into context, like sparring and live drilling, so that the techniques can be honed into skills. Most of this will be overseen and prescribed by a coach who demonstrates and corrects the techniques as they see them. Sounds ideal, right? And it works. It most definitely works. However, in ecological dynamics, we approach and understand development and learning differently. Often coined the non-linear approach, advocates of the ecological approach, like me, believe that skills and techniques, or movement solutions as we like to call them, emerge as a product of the interplay between the environment, the person, and the task, or the problem needing solved. In the ecological approach, there is little need for a coach or instructor to prescribe and offer solutions to the learner. Rather, they design a practice environment and create problems for the learner to solve. In the ecological approach, we believe that all the information needed to solve a problem is present right there in front of the learner. That we as human beings have evolved unimaginably complex sensory systems and coordination capacities to find opportunities and movement solutions within the problems we are presented. An even simpler way might be to describe it as learning through play, like all kinds of animals and children do, and have always done. When did we start overthinking everything? Now, if we were to put this in a grappling context, are we saying that just getting on the ground and grappling is a better way to learn? We are not. However, presumably one would eventually become a very good grappler doing just this. Rather, what we advocate for is putting the learners in an appropriately challenging situation and allowing them to explore and solve the task that we give them. The key here is that it is always with a partner who is also engaged in their own task and objective. By training like this, the learners, through trial, error, and exploration, begin to develop their own unique movement solutions and strategies that work for them. Of course, coaches can still help and guide and offer clues, but for the most part, we try to have the learner mindfully explore and problem solve themselves. So much of martial arts is just practicing idealized techniques that neither suit nor interest the learner. Not only that, they are typically drilled repeatedly on passive partners and lack any real authentic resistance that will be felt immediately in a live situation. Two further considerations. First, the perfect technique does not exist. Certainly not in mixed martial arts, where the opponent or training partner is never in the exact position or moving in the exact same way twice. Furthermore, the dynamics of a fight, whether on the ground or on the feet, are so incredibly complex that not even a reasonable case can be made for a single perfect technique. Secondly, drilling robs both learners of an abundance of rich information that a live partner might offer. Indeed, it is the accumulation of information, or reads that we like to call them, that the learner must make in a live situation that facilitates and develops a robust and adaptable skill set. We perceive to act, and we act to perceive. As we move in space with our partner, nothing remains constant. We cannot, should not, and must not uncouple this loop. Finally, a quick word about constraints. Constraints are the primary tools of the ecological practice designer. As coaches, rather than prescribe solutions, we set up situations and scenarios where the desired behaviors or solutions will appear that are unique to the learner. Constraints can be considered as rules or changes that remove possibilities for action. The more we constrain, the narrower the likely range of behaviors that will emerge. The less we constrain, the greater the number of opportunities and actions will appear. Our job as coaches, therefore, is to recognize and appropriately and creatively design practice constraints to tease out the behaviors and movement solutions that will serve our students best. Beautifully though, not best for us, but best for them. Learn how to learn, find your own style, and thrive at Primal MKE.